Hello guys, welcome to Mac Misra channel. We are in the learning of various corrosion mechanisms. So today we are taking very important and frequently seen corrosion mechanism, that is ammonium bisulfide corrosion, which is also calling the alkaline shore water corrosion. So basically because it happens in the alkaline medium, and this is frequently seen in our refineries where shore water with the basic medium is present, normally mainly in hydrotreaters, FCCUs, sulfur units, SWS units, and much more chemical industries. SWS we can see frequent units only, and it's a very and damaging much more mechanism, but it can be easily chemical industries predicted. We can see frequent calculated the corrosion rate only, and it's a we can easily calculate very damaging, calculate the risk in mechanism, but involved actually it can be the corrosion rate easily predicted based on the different metal calculations. So stated the corrosion rate we can easily calculate that till the end of this session, and you will risk involved learn actually a lot of things, predict the corrosion rates based on, so this on the different this metallurgies. This will be a very important, so stay important lecture series. Let's start till the end. So end of this session, and first you will is ammonium, learn lot of things by sulfide corrosion. So this will what is, so be a very important lecture as a lecture series. Let's start. I told it's so alkaline. First in shore water corrosion is ammonium bisulfide corrosion. What is and which is, so as I told it defines alkaline as shore water corrosion by, and which is what defined as corrosion containing by what H2 containing H2S and ammonia when water containing concentration and it is situation typically occurs, and it is for carbons typically above neutral pH. When pH for pH is above 7, then it's a carbons is a concern. That's why we above we are calling it a neutral pH. When alkaline shore water pH is above, corrosion means basic corrosion 7, then it's a concern. This corrosion, that's why we are calling it caused by aqueous ammonium bisulfide alkaline shore, so NH4HS water corrosion means basic corrosion. Now you see this corrosion, this damage is caused by in the aqueous tube ammonium bisulfide, so NH4HS. So this is a very deep. Now you grooving, you see this damage and in the tube, so may lead to, so this is a very deep incident, grooving, various incident, leak incident, and loss may lead to of primary containment incident, various incident, leak incident. So loss of what are primary containment are the primary, so what are where the primary variables which affect this corrosion rate, means what corrosion rate means what are the critical factors. So first is NH4HS ammonia. So first ammonium bisulfide concentration is NH concentration in 4HS water. As ammonium bisulfide concentration increase, sulfide corrosion rate will increase. Concentration in water. Second is the velocity, as concentration of the fluid. Concentration very important, increase critical factor, the corrosion rate will increase. The wall shear stress increase and the corrosion. Second is the velocity rate is increase. Velocity of the fluid. And third one is the very important. Third one is the critical H2 factors partial it initial pressure. That's all. Increases so the walls here very important critical stress increase factor is and partial pressure with the corrosion increase is the amount of H increase H2S in the system and third increase. Third one is the corrosion rate with third one is the increase the H2S. So these are the primary variables. Now coming let's all to the second, so a very important variable and critical factor, then temperature, partial pressure and hydrocarbon to water increase ratios that are also the amount of H2S in the system with critical factors and which affect the corrosion rate will increase. So these are the primary variables. So now coming to the this is typical secondary variably formed then form temperature by and hydrocarbon to water. So where the ratio from where there is that H2S are also the and ammonia came in the system critical factors which have so H2S affect the corrosion is found by the corrosion rate. The catalytic breakdown or so catalytic conversion H2S of the sulfur is typically formed for compounds in the stream by so where from where and the ammonia H2S and ammonia is formed ammonia by the in the system from nitrogen. So a compound H2S is formed by the so when catalytic breakdown or catalytic conversion of the sulfur compounds in the stream and ammonia is formed by the ammonia and from H2S nitrogen reacts NH4HS is formed as compound. The result of reaction between these two gases and precipitate when take out the gas phase ammonia in the reactant effluent stream and as temperature are H2S below 66 degrees. So when temperature and temperature are below 66 degrees for it, that's also a critical factor form as this is a result of the reaction between these two gases and ammonium bisulfide out the gas form phase in the reactor effluent. So in the stream first as is temperature are key below the ammonia 60 and 6 degrees. So when we are in gases and temperature are it top increases about middle upper of the tank to see the then at pitting high the velocity location due to the ammonia high turbulence by Jones sulfide or where it corrosion may get so the stagnant see then so extra it will end up the cause damage the generalized or so highlight critical highly factor localized corrosion we already seen. So high HS localized concentrated corrosion rate and velocity also being cell pressure seen in the temperature and straight hydrocarbon to water ratio as the critical factor which govern the corrosion rate 5. And now what are the affected materials? So locating the first the site first and most of worst affected can be a challenge. Material is means carbon steel and low steel in dust these are rated by the most also it can affected. Then coming to a high low 3 localized corrosion rate. So we is basically predicting that where they play there will be much corrosion, much more damage is now the D part is challenge the heat exchanger. Then coming may show the plugging and loss of duty low due to velocity fouling. Low so velocity may result most result of the heat exchanger is only high localized fouling. So see the type of damage we seen, and this is also in a tube. This is a tube sample, aluminum films removed, heavy corrosion concentration, and see the deposition in the tubes and the pitting and the tube sheets, heavy fouling tube and corrosion. So this is how you will recognize the ammonium bisulfide, and these are the critical factors which will cause this type of corrosion. Now most important thing is this ammonium bisulfide, when it will come in a solid form then it's a concern, but when it will be sublimate, so we have to predict that temperature and we have to be above that temperature, means we have to avoid desublimation. So desublimation temperature, in which area, which temperature we can avoid this salt formation, this can be seen by this graph. This is a reference of US Burmines Bull 406 page. So this is a reference. Ammonia plus H2S, ammonia gas, H2S gas is forming NH4HS solid. So when solid will form, so here the graph is with reference to the temperature and here Kp. So what is Kp? Kp is a partial pressure of H2S multiplied by partial pressure of the ammonia. So here also it's a written Kp, partial pressure of ammonia into partial pressure of H2S. When both multiplied, we can get the Kp factor. So first of all we have to calculate the Kp. This is depending on the partial pressure of ammonia and partial pressure of H2S, both will multiply and we will get Kp, and we will get we know our operating temperature. We will plot both. If we are in range of here, so in the range of here, if we are getting here, then the deposition NH4 solid NH4 deposition will occur. So this shaded portion is a critical graph, so we should avoid this range. Here deposition will occur, ammonium bisulfide salts will form, and that will lead to corrosion. We should be in this range. So this range, in this range the deposition will not occur at all. So we have to calculate our conditions and we have to remain in this range to avoid ammonium bisulfide deposition. Similarly, ammonium chloride is also a salt, and this also can be checked by this curve whether we are in safer zone. White one is safer zone and black one is the deposition zone. So that's a very critical factor we have to see all the time when NH4HS crystal temperature, or when these crystals will form and will cause the corrosion. Now coming how to predict the NH4HS corrosion. So what are the factors and how to calculate the corrosion rate which is going in our system. So this table has been taken from API 581. Okay, so API 581 give the guidelines for the prediction of the corrosion rate. We will go by step. Start. So first of all we should know the NH4HS concentration and velocity. So based on NH4HS concentration and velocity, we can calculate the corrosion rate by the table 2.B.7.2. Okay, now if my partial pressure, H2S partial pressure is greater than 50 psi, then calculate the adjustable corrosion rate as per table this, and adjustable corrosion rate means if partial pressure is greater than 50 psi, then we have to adjust somewhat corrosion rate given in the formula in this table. Okay, and for if the partial pressure is lower than 50 psi, we can use that table only. So the critical factors NH4HS concentration, velocity and H2S partial pressure. Now we will see this table. Okay, so the second critical factor for alkaline sour water corrosion is, now we seen three factors: NH4HS concentration, velocity and H2S partial pressure. Now how to calculate this? The API 581 also recommends this, that they determine the NH4 concentration, NH4HS concentration of the condensed water. So he has given the formula. If the formula is if weight percent of H2S is less than 2 times ammonia, this is critical. If H2S weight percent is less than 2 times ammonia, then NH4HS concentration will be 1.5 times weight percent of H2S. If weight percent of H2S is greater than 2% of ammonia, then NH4HS is concentration is 3 times the weight percent of ammonia. So basically, if H2S is less than 2 times ammonia, then this formula you have to multiply weight percent of H2S into 1.5 times. If H2S is greater than 2 times ammonia, then you have to use this formula to calculate the ammonium bisulfide percentage. Very important. Then velocity, the vapor phase velocity should be used in two phase system. The liquid phase velocity should be used in the full liquid system. So this is for velocity. Then for H2S partial pressure and kPa, they determine the partial pressure of H2S by multiplying the mole percent of H2S in the gas phase into the total pressure in the system. So you have to multiply mole percent of H2S mole percent into the total pressure of the system. You will get the partial pressure of H2S. So this is how you have to calculate. Now coming to the corrosion rate, that's table. So basically, based on this ammonium bisulfide percentage and velocity, we can calculate the corrosion rate. So based on if my weight percent is 2 and my velocity is 3 meter per second, then my corrosion rate will be 0.08. If my velocity is 4.54 and NH4HS concentration is 2, then the corrosion rate will be 0.1 mm per year. So as you see, as velocity increases on same concentration, the corrosion rate is getting at 9 meter per second, the corrosion rate will be 0.28. Now coming to higher NH4 concentration, 5% NH4HS, then the corrosion rate will be higher than 2%. Now coming to 15% weight percent NH4HS, see the for 3 meter per second the corrosion rate will be 1.15, for 4 meter 1.7, 6 meter 2.54, 7 meter 3.8, and for 9 meter per second the corrosion rate will be 5.08 mm per year. Okay, now we have seen if H2S partial pressure is greater than 50, then we have to calculate the adjustable corrosion rate. So adjustable corrosion rate can be calculated by this formula. So by this formula you can calculate the adjustable corrosion rate and predict the ammonium bisulfide corrosion rate in our system. So this is a very important table given in API 581, you can refer. Now we will see some of the ISO corrosion curve. Depending on the what API has given and the modeling, corrosion modeling, this ISO corrosion curves has been identified in for the various metallurgies, and this can be used for the estimation of the corrosion rate. So this curve is plotted basically NH4HS concentration this side and velocity in feet per second this side. So based on velocity and NH4 concentration, if we are falling below here above this, then my corrosion rate will be less than 5 mpy. If we are falling in between these two lines, then our corrosion rate is 5 to 25 mpy. If we are falling in between two, my corrosion 20 to 50, in between this 50 to 100 mpy. Between these two curves, these are the ISO corrosion curves, means here it will be 100 mpy, here it will be 200 mpy, and in between it will be 100 to 200 mpy. Here also it's a 200 mpy, it's a 300 mpy, in between the corrosion rate will be 200 to 300 mpy. So based on this you can calculate your conditions, you can calculate the corrosion rate, and this is for H2S partial pressure 50 psi and temperature 130 degree Fahrenheit for carbon steel. Okay, now coming to the SS304. So is also a isocorrosion curve. Here up to this means here up to 5 concentration and 20 feet per second, you can see the corrosion rate will be less than 2 mpy. So this is showing better resistance of corrosion than carbon steels. So this in between this there will be corrosion rate of 2 to 5 mpy. Likewise you can calculate the corrosion rate for SS304. This is for 316. This is similar to SS304 metallurgy, and you can predict your corrosion rate by this curve. Okay, so this is for duplex alloy, duplex 2205 2205, and for 2205 this is also much more resistant than the stainless steel here, because nickel has increased. So as nickel percentage will increase, the corrosion rate will decrease and it will be more resistant. So by this formula, see, you have the large area where the corrosion rate will be less than 2 mpy. In between these two isocorrosion curves, the corrosion rate will be 2 to 5 mpy. Here in between these two, this will be 5, here 5, it is 10, and in between is 5 to 10, here 10 to 20, in between is 10 to 20, and this area will be greater than 20 mpy. Okay, now we can also predict the pH of the system based on the NH4HS concentration at 50 psi partial pressure, which is a critical partial pressure of the H2S. Okay, so at 50 psi partial pressure, if my NH4HS concentration is 1%, then my predicted pH will be 6.9, and this also actual measurement, which is exactly equal to our predicted one. So at 2% the pH will be 7.8, 5% 7.5, 8% 10% 7.9, 15% 8.35, 20% 8.6, and 30% NH4HS will have the predicted pH of 9.11. So these are the predicted pH based on the NH4HS concentration. Now coming to the corrosion resistance chart, which metallurgies are more resistant and which metallurgies are less resistant. So carbon steel is a least resistant to the NH4HS corrosion. Then coming next is Li 400, which shows somehow better than carbon steel. Then 410 SS is some better than the 400 stainless steel. Then comes 304 and 316 having similar resistance. Then alloy 600, alloy 800, and alloy 2205 duplex, these all having similar corrosion resistance. Okay, so first level, second level, third level, fourth level, then these are fifth level. Then coming to the sixth level of metallurgy upgradation, these three having similar corrosion resistance, alloy 625, 825, and 20 CV3. Then if we want to upgrade next, then these are the two alloys, and this top one is the alloy C276. So as we are going here, least resistant to ammonium bisulfide, and this is most resistant to the ammonium bisulfide. So this can be used based on our system for the reviewing our metallurgy and upgrading our system if corrosion is continues to happen. Now basically, what are the affected units for ammonium bisulfide? So ammonium bisulfide corrosion can be seen in the form of under deposit or which H2S attack. It can see in hydroteter reactor effluent air fin coolers. Okay, and then high pressure separators of the hydroteter in FCCU plant. In FCCU, the gas plant overhead receivers, you can see this ammonium bisulfide corrosion. There are different also corrosions like hydrogen sulfide, which hydrogen chloride, ammonium chloride, which can be seen in the different plants of the different locations in the refinery units. So basically today we are here ammonium bisulfide. Now we can see in the hydrotreaters it's shown the damage mechanism. So basically the damage mechanism will be here in the reactor effluent air coolers, what we are calling the REAC system. So in the REAC system where see this is my first of all feed coming from here. The feed is going to the heater exchanger preheater, then it's going to the heater, then is going reactor bottom is coming to the REAC for the cooling down. So here you will see the reactor effluent air cooler in this piping and this air fin cooler, and then downstream piping you will see the ammonium bisulfide corrosion. Here you will see the naphthenic acid corrosion, here we will see the H2S or sulfidation. So this is how you can predict and you can check in your system whether NH4HS is forming. You can prepare your inspection plan. Coming to the FCCUs, in FCCU you will see the primary absorber overhead column. Here overhead system you will see this ammonium bisulfide corrosion. So now coming to the mitigation measures, how you will mitigate the ammonium bisulfide corrosion, NH4HS corrosion. So first of all, the good design practice includes the symmetrical and hydraulically balanced flow out of the air cooled exchanger. So when in air cooled exchanger and its outlet there will be a symmetrically hydraulically balanced design flow, then it can be avoided because there should not be any stagnant area. We have to maintain proper flow and we not allow to ammonium bisulfide to be settled down somewhere in the system which will cause the corrosion. Then B part is carefully review the design and localized velocity as process conditions change, particularly as ammonium bisulfide concentration exceeds 2%, begin to approach 8% or higher. So when ammonium bisulfide exceeds 2%, we have to review our system. We have to see anywhere their localized velocity is getting increased or getting lowered very low. So that area we have to avoid by design itself. Then C is the use of the resistant material of construction. We have seen various metallurgies which are better than carbon steel. So we have to review and we have to use this like duplex alloy 825 at velocities of above 6 meter per second depending on the NH4HS concentration. We have to calculate this. Then coming D is the proper design and maintaining wash water. We have to properly design wash water system and maintain enough wash water system to dissolve these salts and don't allow to concentrate or deposit in our system. So providing sufficient excess water to ensure that adequate amount of water remains as a liquid to dilute these salts. We have to dilute and flush out the salt. So we have to continuously dose this wash water in our system. Use proper injection spray nozzles and proper metallurgy in the wash water system. So wash water is also a critical factor. Then titanium and alloy has been used in overhead of SWS units. Aluminum exchangers tubes are extremely susceptible to erosion corrosion damages, so this should be avoided. So basically two parts are there: proper designing, maintaining proper velocities, we should avoid maintaining the proper concentration, selecting the proper metallurgy, and using adequate wash water in the system are the critical factors to avoid such type of corrosion. So hope you have enjoyed this lecture series and this is a lecture series on the corrosion engineering. Stay tuned, you will learn more. If you find this video useful, please share with your friends and like and subscribe my channel. Thank you all.